Gone Traveling podcast. We are looking at the BKT EuroCup, the road to greatness, as they say. And with we, I mean myself and Sergio Llebres over in Valencia, Spain. Sergio, buenos dias. How are you doing, my man?
Buenos dias, David. Hi, everyone. I'm good. I'm good. Hope you guys are also good. We have nice standings up there in Group A and Group B. Mostly in Group B, there's a real battle to get the second place now. And this is getting the real form for the playoffs now.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, we're not getting any closer to having any decisions made. I mean, okay, we know first place seems to be those, Bajacia and Valencia, but other than that, nothing. Uh, Maybe we might know in Group B that there's only 7 teams left fighting for 6 spots, but if Lead Cabela's can beat Vida in their extra game, then they're only 2 games back. But we've now had, and I mean in Group A, Joventut is still alive. As much as we had called them, mainly me, I guess, called them pretty much dead.
Yeah, me too.
So the main highlights of the week, obviously Valencia getting back to their winning ways in record manner. Gran Canaria downing Ulm in a major Group A game, and Trefl Sopot finally gets their win. Um,
Finally.
Finally. So let's start with the game you want to talk about, and that is the aforementioned Joventut on a roll.
Yeah, Juventud are rolling now. As long as we knew before, earlier in the season, with Danny Miret, the greens and blacks were kind of irregular. We didn't know what to expect about them in every match. They always had some um, altercations with injuries or absences or with some bad results because of, for example, Devon Dodson didn't score enough or wasn't enough efficient enough, or Tomic was unable to play or display the basketball he always does, because he's now 37, and although he's been great this season, he's not getting the consistency of other seasons. But now with 2 3 main guys or names that are getting better and being more incisive in the offense, they are uh, showing that they can play real basketball. I'm talking about Devon Dodson now is the leader of the team on the offense. Then obviously you cannot forget about Sam Decker, this addition that finishes his contract nowadays from now on. So we gotta be pay a lot of attention to that situation, because he can go out for Juventud. And then also Artem Pustovi, the Ukrainian, is now getting his flowers, because the
He's
fans
balling.
of Juventud are enchanted with him now, because he's having very good games in the ACB League and also in EuroCup. So there are X factors that are getting Juventud to the possibility to be in the playoffs this year, although we thought that they couldn't. 5-9 now after, and they are 2 games away from Wolves. They have a slight possibility. They have low chances to get there, but they are still alive. That thing that we could not think about earlier. So
Yeah. You mentioned Decker, and I'm just wondering, he didn't play the last 2 games, the game in the league, but also the EuroCup game and the game in the league. And was looking on Twitter and saw that he's supposedly being connected with Real Madrid. He says
Yeah.
he's only worried about Joventut.
And then,
Regardless of whether or not he stays or not, they're still behind 2 games behind Wolves and Besiktas. They own the tiebreaker against Besiktas. Wolves has the tiebreaker in that matchup. If they were to get tied in that matchup,
mhm,
Budućnost, of course, is in between them. And I mean, they need to throw a huge shout out thank you to Sopot for that win over Wolves. And because they took care of business against Besiktas, and I mean, I had even started questioning whether or not Murray's his job is at risk, and now they're 7-1 in their last 8 games. The only loss was to Wolves, and they beat Barcelona, they beat Gran Canaria, and they beat Tenerife in the league. So yeah, I mean, Joventut, who knew it? Who would expected it? I mean, definitely not me. They still have a big challenge to get there, but they're not done yet. They're not done yet. Two teams that we definitely will see in the playoffs from that same group A, are Gran Canaria and Ulm,
yeah.
and those two went to battle in Germany in a showdown, really kind of for second place, or at least the front seat in the battle. Let's call it whatever you want to say. Gran Canaria did a pretty good job. I was pretty impressed with them
Mhm.
snapping that 5 game winning streak against Ulm, and now they basically have a 2 game lead over Ulm since they have the tiebreaker. And Tel Aviv, which is a game behind both of them, holds a tiebreaker of Gran Canaria, 16-0 run in 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. And it's strange to see Ulm with all the weapons that they have to go scoreless for 7 minutes. Allison, really a great game. Toby played really well. I want to mention also Medi Guama, new signing there.
Yeah.
He's a EuroCup champ. Played with Paris last year. Was with Bourges. Left them. Go to, I want to say Le Mans. Not sure 100%, but he was a big boost for them. And then of course they were playing without Abisi and Shurna. That's the second game that they were missing both of those guys. Big, possibly a kind of big loss for Ulm. Tommy Klepheis, the captain, went out after 23 seconds. He had been battling with people had been saying a foot thing. People, it just wasn't clear what exactly he was maybe
Oh,
battling during the season, but he only played 23 seconds. Hopefully that's not. But he had to be carried off on the other guy's shoulders. He couldn't put any pressure on his leg. So, Gran Canaria, massive victory over Ulm. Your thoughts on that?
yeah, and also Gran Canaria made his job. This is not EuroCup, but they played Valencia, that they are the main EuroCup team this year with Basket. They beat them 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. So you gotta give credit to them because they are normalizing some elite basketball and dynamics because uh, you see the rotation and there are many guys playing more than 12, 14 minutes, and they can bring out to the court very good basketball. Carlos Alocen is now, if you guys can remember how bad he was with the injuries, and he was out for 2 years, and now in 26 minutes he can give 14 points, 5 assists, steal 3 balls. So there are some guys that are elite for EuroCup. Mike Toby also with another double double. Brusino. So this is a team that for me with Basquesira and Valencia are in the table to get the title. You cannot forget about the 2023 champions, and also they have a very similar group of guys that won the championship. So um, I think they are great contenders, and you can see that with this type of victories because, as you said, ratiopharm Ulm were in a streak, and now they get a game against Gran Canaria, and they cannot afford that. So the Spaniards are a team to consider a lot.
Yeah, Ulm dropped to fourth. They
Yeah.
were, now they're even behind Tel Aviv. Okay, Besiktas Wolves are still, are 2 games behind them, and they're pretty safe there. But all right, next team, next game, next
Yeah.
player, and you want to talk about Mr. Khadeen Carrington over at
Mm-hmm.
Hapoel Banka Jerusalem.
Carrington was one of the main guys again for Hapoel Jerusalem in a road victory against Cluj-Napoca, 79-91. He's been the second name of this team that now has the second place in Group B. They are still battling with Cedevita Olympia. That you gotta remember that they have still to play one more game because of the rescheduled game because of the bad weather conditions in to get to Panevesis against Lietkabelis. So they are have the Slovenians have one less game to play. And yeah, Hapoel won another one. They are 5-2 in out on the road. So in the last 10, 6-4, they are still need to get the 3 or 4 the 4 games remaining to get to that second place and have the court factor, the court advantage in the playoffs. And talking about Carrington, he had a great night, offensive explosion again, and provided the spark Jerusalem needed to clinch the win. He consistently attacked and showcased his scoring versatility. And with Harper, they are doing a great duo. In this victory, they combined for 44 points. And are if you watch the game or see the box score, you can see how they produce their points. Harper goes every time to the line. He went 10 for 10 from the line in this game, and Khadeen Carrington was the one shooting the field goals. He had 10 threes. He scored 4, but he went for 23 points. And he surpassed in less time in scoring Jared Harper, and also he had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was the main guy because this stat you gotta watch out and interpret very well because in the plus minus he has plus 19, and I think this is very reliable in this case. And yeah, Khadeen Carrington is being surprisingly good. He's very good, we all know, but if you watch his performances, he has never had less than 11 points besides his first game in the round 2 for Hapoel Jerusalem. So yeah, you can watch the other games and see how regular he is and how important he's been for Hapoel Jerusalem that didn't seem to have that second reference in the perimeter. So now with Carrington, they have.
Yeah. Also, another guy is Justin Smith. He'd been out since round 5, came back for round 13, 14 and 13 points. So he's been really a spark plug for them as well. I'm gonna move to our team, Sopot, Trefl Sopot. Finally got the victory. And yeah, 0 and 13. That 0 is no longer a 0, but it's a 1. They trashed Wolves. Pretty crazy. Just couldn't believe that game just kept going, and you thought, okay,
Yeah.
Wolves, they'll eventually start, making a comeback, and never happened. Congratulations to Coach for that. Fantastic, Coach Tabak, on finally getting a victory. And I want to talk about Nick Johnson. Came in. This is his fifth game, and he's been averaging 8.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Had 16, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. Actually was kind of flirting with a triple double
Mhm.
two rounds ago against Budućnost when he had no last round we had 6, 8, and 10 assists. Also had 13, 6, and 8 against Joventut. This is a guy that came in after Tariq Phillip left and has really kind of taken the reins for that team. And they were doing it about their leading PIR man. The guy that we've talked about in the past, Marcus Weathers, has been out injured.
Yeah.
This is his second game injured. And it was also the second game that they had with Darius Moten, and people may have seen that and said, "Well, where'd that come from?" 19 rebounds and 5 assists. This was the second game for him. And Moten actually, this is his. He's been with the team for in the past. 32-year-old. He played 2 full seasons with Sopot in 2021 and 2022, and then also partial seasons in 1920 and 23-24. So it's a guy that Sopot fans know. But Nick Johnson, really, doing a lot for this team. Obviously, Jeffrey Grizel coming up big with the departure of Andy Van Vliet. And so, yeah, congratulations out to Poland for Zan Tabak and his men.
Finally, they had a win.
Finally.
I don't know. Maybe you can know how was the longest a team was without a win in the EuroCup, but
It's been longer than it's been pretty long. There's
yeah.
there's a couple of teams that have gone really long stretches. I don't think they were really even close, if I'm not
Now,
mistaken.
now
So
their mission is to get 2 wins to beat the season Setevita half had last year. So we should take this with some humor because we expected a lot from the the Polish in the first length of the season. We thought they had a very bad luck with some ending of the games, and that turned into a very bad dynamic. I wish we
and
could.
then losing players too, losing players,
Yeah, of course.
having,
Tariq
teams
Phillip,
snatch up other guys.
yeah, and when all was said and done, with 0-8 or 0-9, Tariq Phillip went out also, so kind of difficult for this team, and yeah, this was an easy win for Wolves, but uh, EuroCup always have surprises to give us. So,
Yep, and something that wasn't a surprise, Valencia.
no. But
Man.
well, if you see a record, always there's a surprise because that hasn't been done yet. So, uh, Valencia won to Tour Telecom, and I wanted to talk about this game because of this is a very choral team. There's no one that always shines because how the rotations and the dynamic is, they cannot shine because everyone plays no more than 22, 23, 20 minutes. And in this case, Valencia won 116 to 78 to Tour Telecom. This was the largest scoring for Valencia Basket in any European competition, and also the largest margin of victory this season for the Valencians. And again, this was a very groupal work, but there is a name that to remark because how he provides this kind of basketball and dynamic to getting the team into the rhythm, and that's no other than Xabi Lopez-Arostegui because with 20 points, 4 out of 9 two-pointers, three threes, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 21 PIR. He had a very complete um, exhibition, and that's the main reflect or the main example of how Valencia is as a team. You know, everyone's making everything, and I wanted to talk about him because he's always under the radar, because he doesn't give us a lot of highlights or very good or statistics, but Valencia's offense was well-oiled machine, and shooting with a 57% from beyond the arc is remarkable. It's because of these players, because they make situations to get comfortable shots in a very short time of the position. So and that borns or is origin because of their defense, and also their capacity to get the rebounds, and with 34 assists in one game, how you cannot score 116 points. And if you remember, Xabi Lopez-Arostegui was injured in the FIBA windows, and that was a very bad situation for Valencia, because you need for Spanish players to play in the ACB league, and they needed some young guys and to play, and also for him because he was getting into the rhythm, and that stopped him. But now he's recovered, and he came back with a lot of energy in the last game, in the revenge against, well, in the loss, sorry, against Venice. He scored also 17 points, had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. So very, very, very complete guy. That it's the definition of glue guy, and everyone in the team, in everyone would love to have him in their teams, because of his work. And I had to mention him because he's been prolific for Valencia in the shadow.
Yeah, 57 points last three games. You know, you go back in
Yeah.
the round six makeup game as well. All right. Going from a European champion to a world champion.
Hmm.
Uh, a guy that actually probably not a lot of people will know. And that's Fabian Giessmann. We're looking at the Ryer victory 90-77 at Hamburg. Hamburg made things interesting, taking a 25-point lead down to 9 points in the fourth. Ryer, 6-1 in their last seven, now up to fourth place in Group B, and really still chances to take sixth place. But I want to focus on
Hmm.
Fabian Giessmann, a guy who, like I said, a lot of people might not know. But if you live in a different world of basketball, the 3x3 world, then he is definitely a name everybody knows. 2022 U17 European Championship, European champion, 2023 U18 World Champion. And in September, he won. He became the U23 World Champion, beating USA in the final, along with Louis Bykama, Denzel Agiman, and Leon Fertig. And that USA team had three guys who have been playing, who had NBA experience: John Butler, Alex Fudge, and David Johnson. All of them, not a lot, but NBA guys. Also, Jameer Nelson Jr., yes, the son of former NBA star Jameer Nelson. But, this is the 51st best 3x3 player in the world. 51st. He's 19. He played 12 minutes, 2 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. And I know last week I talked about plus minus, and not saying that I'm a big fan of it when we were talking about Tolopos, but he had a 17 plus 17, did Fabian Giessmann in this game. And this was his first ever 5-on-5 game. This was his first time that he's ever played in an official 5-on-5 in a 5-on-5 game. He was at the
That's
BWB Europe
crazy.
camp back in Milan in 2022, and that was the first time he grew up. He played football, soccer until he was 13. And when they found him, they just put him into 3x3. So he never played 5-on-5. And this is a guy that, there's actually a little bit of NBA buzz about him, and and he's actually not even on contract with Hamburg. He's still on. He's on loan with Hamburg from St. Pauli, Hanover. St. Pauli is Hamburg club. It's his 3x3 club, and he's on the 3x3 World Tour with FIBA.
That's
And
great.
So Fabian Giessmann, a guy that probably, I mean, really very, 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 very few people know. But when I saw his name in the lineup, I was just astounded. I'm like, I had to wait. It's not that Fabian Giessmann, is it? I'm not a big 3x3 guy, but I actually interviewed him back in Milan because I thought it was fascinating. And a 3x3 guy was invited to the BWB camp.
I saw your tweet when he went out to the court, but and I was amazed. But what you told me, I didn't expect the half you talked about because of the loan thing and also the that he has never played 5 per 5 in his life officially. No.
Exactly. No,
In
the only
in
time that he ever would have played would have been BWB when they have those 5-on-5 games, but no actually
Oh my
recognized
God.
games.
Well, he has a lot. He's from '05. He's 18 years old.
He's 19. He's 19.
19, sorry.
Yeah,
So
he's 19.
so
And like I said, and those were guys that played the USA team.
mhm.
He was the MVP of that team.
Oh,
He was the MVP of all three of those: under 17 European Championship, under 19 World Champion, and under 23 last summer as a I'm gonna lie if I say I don't know if he was 18 or 19 when he won the under 23. Under 19, he was at the very oldest. He was 19 at the under 23, and really dominating some. All the guys were in the G League at least,
mhm.
but also have NBA experience. So Fabian Giessmann, write it down. Write the name
Yeah,
down. It's a reason to watch.
yeah.
It's a
I'm gonna
reason to
follow him.
watch Hamburg for sure. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We have round 15, yeah. So I will let you start with.
Yeah.
Let's go pretty quick through this. Your main highlights that you're looking forward to for next week's game.
For me as a Spanish guy, I gotta go with Gran Canaria
Yeah.
Joventut because that's a high level basketball. Gran Canaria needs the win to get in that second place, and Joventut needs to win with some margin to still get that possibility for the playoffs. Considering that the Catalonians that play on the road this time have a very good dynamic and a lot of victories in the last games. They started 2025 with a very good mood, and maybe this could be the last game of Sam Decker. I don't know. So this has all the potential to be a great game, and also this is the last game from round 15, so nothing better.
And don't forget, these two teams played on December 30th, and
Exactly.
Joven
Yeah.
put 189-78 at Badalona, but
Hmm.
they only played, a little more than 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Another huge game in Group A is Besiktas and Wolves, both at 7-7. Ulm is kind of almost away. Borussia is right behind them at 6-8, and Joventut. We just talked about them for a lot this show. They're at 5-9. So massive game between Wolves and Besiktas. Also, I have Jerusalem against Cedevita, kind of for the inside track on Group B second place. Anything else that you got?
Now that we hopefully see you or listen to you in next week, and hoping that this round 15 still has the same action that the other 14 because this season in EuroCup has been great. So waiting for the playoffs now.
Something tells me that round 15 will be full of action.
Yeah.
All right, for Sergio Llebres, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on the social medias?
Yeah, I'm called Llebres11, Llebres 11.
Also on Blue Sky, that is, on Twitter and on Blue Sky. And I am at Hein News, HeinNews, Hein News. For Sergio, David Hein, thanking you for your time. Always appreciated. This has been the Gone Traveling podcast where we look to the BKT EuroCup, the road to greatness.